Okie doke. Welcome. Thank you, everybody, for coming to this first very brief AGM. If we had a constitution, it would say that we have to have an AGM. So here we are. Hopefully, it'll only last about 20 minutes because most of what I'm going to say we've already said in the newsletter and so on. But so welcome. The quick rundown of what we did last year in the last year, in case you've forgotten. I always, they all blur into one nowadays. But we had 9 Zoom meetings. We had 3 conferences: Broadside Day, Sense of Place in Sheffield, and the meeting in Gloucester on archives. And a bunch of our members, gave papers at the AFS annual conference, the virtual version. You're going to hear some of those later on. So we've had a busy year. And in fact, just briefly, maths is not my strong subject, but since we started in 1998, so that's 27 years ago, roughly speaking, we've had 234 presentations, roughly speaking, on Zoom, for the world to see, and at least 250 papers and presentations given at conferences and meetings. So by my reckoning, that means over 500 papers and presentations in the TSF's lifetime. So I think we can be quite proud of that, because a lot of that stuff would not have seen the light of day without the TSF badgering people, basically, to communicate. And the whole point of all of this is to get people communicating, researching, talking, sharing, and so on. So well done, everybody. Everybody here and all the others as well. The other main news is Martin, as you know, was our secretary. He sends his apologies. He can't be here. He's in Costa Rica, I believe. Who would rather be in Costa Rica than at this AGM? Yeah, exactly. We've changed the way, you'll have noticed, we've changed the way the TSF is organised, in that Martin stepped down as the secretary, and he's, secretary stroke administrator. He's been the secretary since the second meeting back there in 1998, so he's done his bit. He's still on the committee. We now have a committee rather than Martin and me and Peter as the treasurer doing things. So currently the TSF has me as chairperson. Richard up there in the corner is he was the apprentice secretary. He's now the secretary. Martin is the secretary emeritus, still on the committee. Peter Snape is the treasurer. And we have brought on Andy Turner and Katie Howson onto the committee. And then we also have people who do things in the background. Elaine, who's here today, and Cara O'Brien looks after our social media and that kind of stuff. So they're the people that you've got to thank for keeping this stuff going, keeping the organisation going. If anybody wants to volunteer to be anything at all, we can make up a job for you, or you can just join the committee. If anybody wants to propose somebody else, please do. We've been saying that for 27 years and nobody has ever, I don't think, volunteered. They've always been volunteered by one of us. But thank you to the committee members who really do keep things going. Richard's also taken over as membership secretary from Sean. Do we know how many members we've got, Richard?
Peter's actually taken over the membership.
Oh, Peter, I tell a lie. Sorry, Peter. So if Peter like to give us his treasurer and membership report.
Well, I won't be able to give a membership report. I mean, you are quite correct. I'm going to take over the membership secretary, but we've not quite got there yet, so the transfer's not quite been quite taken place, but it will do soon, I think. So we might be missing a membership report on this AGM, I suspect. Yeah,
Well, let's have the money anyway, because
yeah,
it's the
okay.
finance
I'll just
matters.
bring this screen up then. Okay. Should be all there. Can you see that clearly?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay.
Blimey, that's a lot of money.
Right, well, this is the financial report. I'm using the current account to deliver the report. The current account is our main vehicle for incomings and outgoings, and you'll understand why I'm doing that in a minute or two. The balance at the 1st of January 2025, as you can see there, we came into that year with £3,456.11p. But throughout the year, line number 1, friends of TSF donations through the bank, cheques, standing orders and PayPal received throughout that year came to £971.44p. So I think that's a deserved thank you to everybody who's contributed. Offsetting that, in the next lines from 2 to 7, I've listed the main items of expenditure. Line number 2, well, the web, Zoom admin costs last year came to £633.69. Slightly up on the previous year, but as Steve has already said, we've changed the management admin side of things around, so there's an element of cost last year we had to undertake to do that. We continue to sponsor the In the Road podcast by Matt Quinn, and we've now become a formal sponsor of that series. We spent £375 doing that. Donated £100, line 4, to the printing costs of the Collectomania publication. And then line number 5, the expenses associated with running the spring and autumn conferences out of this account was £112.50p, but I put a bracket underneath that just to say we also paid some of it through the PayPal, so the total spend on the autumn conference was £136.20p, which really is not great at all. For the first time in a while, we actually had some A5 leaflets printed and we distributed those at various places, Sidmouth and Whitby festivals being 2. We spent £23 on that. And again, not quite the total figure because we paid for some leaflets through PayPal. So in total, in advertising this year, we spent £50. And then we helped Abby Kingsworth attend the Broadside Day conference. And then a new one for this last year, item number 8, bank charges. The bank has started charging us now to have the account. So we have to incur £42.50p at the moment in bank charges. So the total expenditure for 2025 was £1,327.43p, which left us at the end of the year with a balance of 3,112p. Now, to bring your brain up to date, as of yesterday, the current account balance was at £3,705.82. Obviously, in January, there's been quite a receipt of TSF Friends donations, and we've also spent £100, £120 on expenses. So current account balance as of yesterday, 3,705. The PayPal balance, the PayPal account is somewhat a tokenistic balance at the moment. I've transferred all the money received from the Friends donations into the current account, so that just stands at £26. So line 13, current financial position, £3,731.93, which I think is good enough to take us into 2026 and beyond with all the activities we've got planned. And a bit of good news, line number 14, something new for this year. In the autumn, a TSF friend made a donation of £2,000 to the management and continuation of the Royal Palmer Lecture, the annual lecture which currently takes place at Whitby Folk Festival. So this has been ring-fenced, and to make sure we keep it as that, I put it into a savings account alongside our current account, and hey presto, at the moment it's £2,002.33p, so it's actually gone up. So that's purely for the Royal Palmer Fund, and we report on that every year in that manner. And then lastly, just for a piece of information, the Friends donations for 2026 are standing at £907.18. I think that's fantastic, and thank you to everybody who's helped in that. And just for a comparison, last year it was £954.14. So we're very, very similar in comparing the 2 years together. I think that's all I've got to say. If there are any questions, I shall do my best to answer them.
Thank you, Peter. Does anybody want to ask a question or say something? Michael's got his hand up.
Just very quickly, Peter, could you remind us how to make our PayPal contribution?
Well, if you go to the website,
Aha,
go to Friends of TSF, there is a PayPal button.
perfect. Thank
Right,
you. I
so
remembered that.
it is dead easy, but a lot of people use it because it is very easy to actually make a donation. The downside, of course, is that the PayPal take off a transaction fee, but to be honest, personally, I think it probably outweighs the convenience of doing it. So it's dead easy. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and certainly thank you again to the friends who do chip in money each year. As Peter would have shown in the accounts there, we do try to keep everything free. Most of our conferences are free. These Zoom meetings are free. And we can only do that if people do stump up money every now and again. So please, thank you to the friends, and please do that. A little bit of news there on the Roy Palmer lecture. That was something that started by Martin, with our backing, of course, but Martin was the one who put the money up and organised it. Now, because of him stepping down as secretary, the TSF has now officially taken over organising the Roy Palmer lecture. And this year it will be at Whitby as usual. It'll be Katie Howson talking about women instrumentalists, women musicians, traditional ones. And next year we're planning it'll be John Kirkpatrick, also at Whitby. So that's something, again, something that TSF has taken over. And we do try to encourage young or new people with bursaries to conferences. We sometimes pay some travel expenses and so on to help people. So again, those are all supported by the money from the friends. Right, so that's the past, that's the money, that's everything like that. In the coming year, we've got a busy time planned. We've got the Broadside Day in February, next week in Sheffield. We've got the Women and Folk Song in Manchester in April. We've also, this is relatively new in the calendar, 10th of October in Leeds. We've got a conference in cooperation with Leeds Libraries to celebrate Frank Kidson's centenary. So that will be on traditional song in the north of England, when we say the north, of course. Northern collectors, northern singers, northern songs, etc. So we haven't had a call for papers out yet, but if you have anything that you're thinking of submitting, then we'll be telling you more about that soon.
Sorry, what was the date of that again?
The 10th of October, I think that's right.
Yeah.
Is that right, Richard?
Yeah.
And we're planning to continue these Zoom meetings, of course. The 8th of March is the next one. And then I don't think we've actually set the dates for after March. We haven't yet, but we will have a committee meeting, and we will do soon. But we are planning to continue them for as long as we can cajole people to actually give papers. We will continue, hopefully. I think that's all we need to do AGM wise,